You're listening to Technically PvP, a podcast about player versus player in the world of Warcraft.
For the glory of Stormwind! Victory or death!
Hey, it's November the 6th, 2018, and you are listening to Technically PvP, a podcast where we analyze the various aspects of player versus player in the game, World of Warcraft. Hey, I'm Gerissar, a PvP apprentice, and on behalf of Andelin and Windstead, welcome to the show.
Hey, welcome. Oi. As
Hi,
we slowly
guys.
nurse our voices, Winston.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I'm like great. No voice loss, no con crud. I'm like fantastic.
Yeah, if we made a soul-shattering deal with Illidan, we'd probably be fantastic too.
This is true. This is true. But you know, when you take a little bit of that demon blood and you eat that demon heart, you know, you become immune to a lot of things.
Apparently.
Yeah.
But you also have no soul.
No, I still have one. It's just very conflicted with the demon soul inside of me.
You're like a ginger. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like a ginger. That's very, very fitting. Yeah.
Send your hate mail to Tim.
Oh my God. Well, that's a wrap, guys. All right.
Edit it out. Come on.
Indeed. So obviously this is a really early episode. Normally we do it every 2 weeks, but because BlizzCon was just happened, and oh my gosh, there's so much stuff that happened, we decided that we're going to do another quick episode for everybody. So this is going to be a lot shorter than the other ones we normally do. And ladies and gentlemen, yeah, well, true. But ladies and gentlemen, we have some nice little surprises for you here. We got some neat things. I guess, do we want to talk about what we've been up to? Because I mean, we went to BlizzCon.
Yeah.
Is there anything else?
Well, I guess. Yeah, no. I mean, we've been up to BlizzCon. I mean,
yeah.
I didn't play any games since last episode. I was
Except for
working
Classic
on
WoW.
College Play, and I didn't even do Classic until
Yes, you
at
did. You did with
BlizzCon.
us. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, besides
Alright.
playing the demo at BlizzCon, no, I haven't played it all.
All right. Well, then let's get into the show. We're going to skip upcoming WoW PvP events because right now it's going to be on hiatus for a bit, and I don't know anything that's going on right now.
Well, I mean, Resurgence got Monday nights, so if you're missing
Fair, yeah.
tournaments and everything like that, and you're on Horde side, you know, come bring your tunes. Join our Discord, Resurgent ESP. If you don't know where that is,
True.
www.resurgentesp.com. Find all the info you need.
And that's the one you have where you don't actually need a team. You guys kind of like
That's right. You can hashtag
pick
solo
there.
queue, and you can get a team paired up with you. We just ask that you please bring a character that you're at least somewhat competitive on, because it's not fair if I match you up with a team and then you ruin that team's fun because you just don't know what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's the only thing I ever ask.
Awesome. All right. Well, you heard that there. Let's do the WoW PvP news.
All right. Who ordered up an extra large can of whoop ass?
Can I take this? Can I take this?
You do?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, so guys, congratulations to Method Orange. I called it. You are the 2018 AWC champions. Oh, so happy about that. So happy about that. I love you.
NA1, boys and girls. NA1.
NA1, NA took it. NA took it in a NA versus NA final. The first time in the history of WoW esports that has happened.
Yep. And it was so many good battles. So many good fights.
They were really tight. And even even like the final itself, Method Orange won 4-0. But it was never like, oh yeah, the Method Orange has this map in their pocket. It was always by the skin of their teeth that they pulled off the win. And like, especially
but
in
not
that,
really though. Like it was. I mean, it doesn't. I would not say skin of their teeth because I feel like it was very, very much like a they were in the driver's seat that whole time.
Okay.
But like if you
All
saw the
I'm gonna
level
say-
of what the Gosu crew was playing at, like Sidhu's team looked literally invincible. Like they were playing out of their minds. They were so laser focused. Like there was no way in hell anyone was going to beat them.
I saw Sam I Am drop to like a 1% health in the final match. And Sidhu still held his Spirit Link totem. And I mean, come on. There was several incidences where that Gosu crew almost took, I have to sit back.
Yeah,
I mean, they almost killed Sam I Am a couple of times. And yes, it didn't happen, but it wasn't like, oh yeah, we walked in and you guys never came close. There were several times where they did beautiful setups. They had great CC chains, and they couldn't quite pull it off. But I mean, there were some really tight moments in there.
Oh yeah,
agreed. I'll say this: Sidhu was on yesterday. If anybody hasn't or isn't on his channel or anything like that, go check out his YouTube channel. He went on yesterday, and he.
Oh, go ahead.
What?
Go ahead and finish up what you're saying.
He went on yesterday. And he recapped every single one of the matches that they had at BlizzCon. And he walked through all the stuff that they did, the decision making behind what they did, some of the tips and tricks that they were doing, which is very important. And so I highly recommend, if you have some time, is over on. I know he posted it up on his YouTube channel, so you can just go over there, and he does a full walkthrough on bringing up the videos, talking about them. Fast forwarding, rewinding through them. It's really awesome. But anyways, I think if you were going to say something,
the other part is that if you check out Sidhu's stream today, which is November the 6th, and you jump up to 356, 346. I'm getting to the point. It's like 17, 18, 20, and start there. There's a demon hunter that's just super happy that Method Orange has taken it, and that demon hunter very well may be Windstead from the Technically PvP podcast.
In his cosplay.
In my demon hunter cosplay, all lit up. So super stoked that I was there. I got to see it live.
Small plug.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
So go check that out, and then I'm definitely going to tweet at Sidhu later about that. And thanks for Andolin for pointing out that happened.
Oh, absolutely. More than happy.
Yeah. That's pretty hilarious, I have to say. But yeah, no, it was. All right. So congratulations, Method Orange. That's Sidhu, Sam I Am, Trill, and their coach, Mez. Coach Mez. So congratulations to those guys.
I love that meme. I can't. All right. So let's get into the subject of analysis.
I'm gonna light you up, sweet cheeks.
Indeed. So obviously, we don't want to spend too much time. The whole intent behind this episode is to just kind of talk about quickly what we saw at BlizzCon, some of our first impression stuff. Our next episode is going to be next Tuesday, where we're going to go over more in depth on a lot of the news like we normally would, right? But quick and dirty. Andolin, how about quickly, aside from the Arena Esports, is there anything that was announced this weekend or something that you did while you're there that really kind of caught your attention you want to talk about for a sec?
Are you trying to cue me for something?
Yep. Is there anything you want to talk about?
Aside from arenas?
Yeah.
I got...
Okay.
I got something that I want to bring up. Because
okay, here, hold on. Okay, let me redo this then, so we don't sound like a bunch of noobs. All right.
Well, it's not even. I don't even put it on your list. The thing that I want to talk about.
Okay. All right. So let me redo this then. All right, guys. All right. So, Windstead, is there anything aside from the Arena esports stuff? Is there anything that happened or was announced this weekend that caught your eye?
The big thing that caught my eye was the announcement that they're bringing in the AI system that they've started with the Island Expeditions into a brawl. for
Oh yes. Yes, the Google Mind, all the work they've been doing with Google Mind.
I
and
am
AI.
very intrigued by that, and I'm really interested to see how well that goes. I think it would be a great thing to be able to introduce AI teams for players who are very new and very unskilled and very nervous about stepping into PvP, because you definitely want you want a playground for people to experience PvP in, and I'm while PvP is not perfect, there are several toxic players, especially when you're getting into high end rated. I guess not high end, but like mid range rated, where people like really care about their rating, but they're not really good enough
High-end's
to
only,
like be the good players, but they think they're really good, and so they kind of rag on other people. And then randoms, of course, are just terrible. The gosh, it's been so long since I've done that raid finder, the LFR comparison to PvP, that's incredibly toxic. I really think this would be a very nice thing to introduce into the game, where people can be like, hey, I can do PvP. It's against computers. There's that would be a very nice introduction to the game, and I really want to see that be successful.
All right. Good point. All right. Personally, I didn't get a chance to actually play the classic demo. I want to get in there and try it. I'm kind of torn, because I want to, go back and do some nostalgia, but I don't know if I have enough time to actually grind out a max level team. Yeah. That said, I'm going to be honest. I'm very tempted to do that, just to get some of those old, the original PvP feels, right? Like go do South Shore Torrid Mill the original way, right? Not as a brawl, but actually.
You mean Terran Mill?
Yeah, I mean Torrid Mill. That's right.
So Gerissar, let's let me and Andolin tell you a quick little story, because you see, I rolled a shaman on the Horde side because they're not allowed on the Alliance yet, and he rolled a mage. Okay, and we were heading, just playing around in the Barrens, and we discovered that dueling was allowed on the realm.
Yep.
And so we dueled each other.
It was, yeah.
And did you know that polymorph lasts for 18 seconds?
And it has no diminishing return.
Mm-hmm.
And after seeing that, I remembered so vividly, like, why I hated vanilla PvP. Because
I actually kind of want to make my warlock just so I can like chain fear somebody.
You could, and stunlock rogues are, they're there, and it just felt like I looked at that, and every single thing came crashing down around me as like why I so much prefer live to vanilla. And so yeah. But yeah, no, it'll be available. You'll be able to do PvP, and it's an option. And I'll come along if you guys want, but I'm definitely not going to search it out myself.
All right. I thought you would have enjoyed like just chain fearing or chain polymorphing something just for fun. But, all right, Andolin, is there anything that caught your eye?
I mean, we have 8.1, and the season's starting to end. We all knew that was coming, though.
Yep. Well, we knew it was coming, but we didn't have a date.
Yeah. But we still have a month, right? So.
Yep. It's supposed to be the 11th of December. So. All right. Cool. And then, what happened to Windstead? All right. Little technical difficulty there, but we're back. All right. So aside from those first impressions, let's do this then. Let's roll into Andolin. I want to talk to you first. The Arena Esports. I know you spent a large portion of the first day with me there.
Yeah.
And then a large portion of the second day there as well. I don't know. Give me what do you want to first talk about of that whole experience with our listeners?
So I think after seeing a few clips of the VODs and stuff, I think the production quality was really good this time around, at least for the actual like finals, BlizzCon finals, right? Like being there, I mean, we made the effort to go run and get the front row seats, so like that was completely worth it. So being in the front row was was awesome. But like going back and watching the actual stream, even being in the front row, I look at it and I'm like, holy cow, this is hype. Like it's still very exciting. Like watching it on the stream, like they do such a good job.
Well, and there was a lot to be hyped about. I mean, this was a very nicely
Right.
played, very tight, very, very skilled demonstration of players in the arena. I mean, I can't really think of any matches that I watched. I know I didn't catch all of them, but I can't think of any match that I watched that I was just like, oh yeah, they got their clock clean. There was why is that team at BlizzCon? I never saw any matches like that. And in the past, I have. There's been a couple of times where it's been like, oh, that team made it to BlizzCon? Really? Awkward.
Yeah. Like, wow, what's going on at that region? If that team was the one that made it, holy moly!
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, we saw maybe a little bit of that from like Cohesion Dream, but not really. They had a one point in time where they actually took a game on pen and paper, but
Well, and pen and paper made it to the semifinals. I mean,
we could kind of say that for Botar. Apparently, one of the games he lost.
I don't know if we want to go there because I'm really
one of the games he lost. So I found out afterwards, if you actually did an inspect on him, he was carrying an agility weapon.
yeah,
What?
David Hollings made a call out on him.
Yeah, apparently, he had the wrong trinket and he was carrying an agility weapon, which is one of the reasons why they lost the match. And he knows it. He knows it. He I'm sure if you talk to him, he'll admit the fault. But yeah, I think that's probably the biggest of how.
Well, and I ran into Belle at BlizzCon, and I was able to talk to her. And this was just before, it was second day, and the arena files were going strong, and we got to talking, and it was brought up that Tempo Storm was defeated out of the tournament.
Yeah.
And after some comments that Botars had made, I was actually kind of happy that had happened. He's he's a very skilled player. I'm not going to say that he's not. But definitely trying to jump into a team 2 weeks before the biggest tournament of the year, after everybody's had tons of time to skill up, work together, and build that team cohesion, and him stepping in being like, oh yeah, I've got this. There's no reason why I shouldn't win BlizzCon a third time, and the fact that he got, smashed out, I was kind of happy about that.
Okay.
And so were some other people that I ran into. But yeah, I mean, I guess that might have been the match that I do kind of think that maybe that is one of those situations where, just because I was so happy to see them get beat, didn't they get 3-0'd, or was it a...
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not something you were expecting. So.
No, and they were definitely one of the teams that I expected to get much deeper in.
Yeah, same.
But that's some drama that happened at BlizzCon that
Yeah.
I think a lot of people were kind of happy about.
So I want to say, from my point of view, first of all, I was really surprised because I remember when me and you went last year, Windstead, we showed up, like, it was kind of late in the morning. We were a little late getting in. We got in, that was just before the actual opening ceremony. We really didn't have a lot of time to mess around on the floor or whatnot. And we got like front row seats right at the beginning. Right?
Oh yeah.
And then this time though, like I remember, we showed up, we got in fairly early, I would say, considering the lineups. And the hall was like almost 3/4 filled up.
Yeah.
It was kind of hard. We couldn't really get it was really hard to find a front seat for all of us on the first day.
Well, it was impossible. I mean, the seat that we did end up getting that I eventually left because my wife had arrived, we were having to sit behind a pillar. We couldn't even see the screen. It was this,
for the opening
this really weird. It was this really weird seating experience where there was just this straight line from the screen of empty seats behind this row, and it was kind of at an off angle. And we're like, "Hey, bunch of seats," and we we're staring at the seats, which are backs towards the front of the arena.
So, yeah, I mean, like we were having a hard time. We couldn't find a good seat right at the beginning, right? There was
not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, and so we ended up at that weird spot where we ended up having to sit behind a pillar for the opening ceremony. Then once the opening ceremony was done, a bunch of people vacated, and then we could actually get a good seat for the actual esports, which is awesome.
And they've kind of filled back up again. I mean, it was the first day, and the first day is a little slower than the second day, but it was still a really good showing at the actual arena.
I think it's a testament just to how some of the excitement and some of the reach of the WoW esports has really grown.
Oh yeah.
Oh, definitely.
And I mean, it even especially with the MDI, where
oh my gosh, right?
Yeah.
Granted, they only had 4 teams, but man, right when that thing started and as that went and finished up, they had a full packed house at 11:30 after the doors were closed, and people were like, "Holy cow!" There's still a massive crowd here. People have to stand because there's no seats. Crazy.
No, it was insane. We might have to tag on to the fact that the MDI is actually really big esports. I mean,
well, I think the thing with the MDI is it's more relatable to a lot of people because there's a lower barrier of entry. People have done the dungeons. People understand them. A lot of people have done those runs. Maybe not at that level or with those affixes, but they've still done the dungeons and they know what's going to happen. Unlike PvP, there's a whole bunch of abilities there that people aren't totally familiar with. They aren't necessarily familiar with every single class, every single spec.
Or the speed at which it happens.
Exactly, right? So I think the reason why the MDI is being so much so many more people are watching it or showing up for it is because it is more relatable to them.
Yeah, and I have to say that with the MDI, you can immediately take what you see and immediately apply it to your next dungeon. While in PvP, it's a lot more, I mean, you have to do a lot more analysis of why the person did what they did when they did it, and if they were successful or unsuccessful in their endeavor. While MDI, it's much simpler of the person died. Obviously, they did something wrong.
Yeah.
Where even
the
in
healer DC'd.
Yeah, or the healer DC'd. Or rather than in arena, the person could play perfectly and still die.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And that's like I was telling people, I said, if you see the sparkly thing flying across the screen, you can probably recognize what that spell is. But if you see a warlock playing, you just see his hands move around, if that, and people are dying, and you don't know why because it's all insta-hots, right? Or insta-dots. And it's hard to understand what's happening when you can't see the sparkly things moving across the screen.
Yeah. Especially with the play of cooldowns and trying to track all that stuff and the response. I mean, it's high-speed chess.
Yep. And we talked about that
really
before.
is. So
it is. Actually, there's one scene. There's one match or I guess a game really. One game where a person, they were at 1 or 2% health left. They were running away. It looked like they were going to get away, and I want to say it was on the ruins of Lordaeron, and the opposing team's healer as a holy pally was off screen, so you couldn't see him, and all you saw was the gold sparkle fly across the screen, and it killed the guy. And if you didn't know that was holy shock, or knew or even saw that sparkle, you would have seen the guy's fine. Oh my gosh, he's gonna make it. Yes, he's gonna live, and then he dies. And it's how did that happen? And if you didn't set little spark, so I can only imagine if it's a different spell where it doesn't have any sort of effect and you didn't see it, and all of a sudden he's alive and then he's dead and you don't know why. Okay, right? I want to say my biggest event, the biggest personal thing that happened to me was at the very beginning, because I had the media pass, I had that shorter line, so I got in a little bit faster than you guys did. And so I went to the cheer station at the Warcraft stage, waiting for you guys. And there was this guy there. And so I walked up and I was like, oh, cheers. So I like grabbed a couple bangers for you guys and I was going to make a sign. And I'm like, you know what? Really nice guy here. He's standing there in a blue shirt, says crew on it. And, I'll chat him up, see what he's up to. So I was like, hey, what do you do? And he's like, oh, I'm on the WoW, on the World of Warcraft team. And I'm like, oh, so what do you do there? He's like, well, I do a couple things. I do a lot of stuff with like combat and some stuff with PvP and that. I'm like, oh, you must be really happy that Holinka's back then, right? And he goes, well, actually, I am him. I'm Brian Holinka. and then I.
And Gerissar's jaw hit the floor.
Yeah. Yeah. Embarrassing moment. Holy crap. So anyway, so then we had a great conversation and we talked for a bit and he was very, very, very personable. I actually really I really like talking with him. He's really cool.
Yeah. One of my great moments was the fact that I came up and met you at that spot and you pointed and said, hey, that's Holinka. And I'm just like, see you guys later. And I mean, I had a nice conversation with him for like 5-10 minutes until you drugged me away by my ear going, leave the nice man alone. And I'm just like, no, I want to talk to him more.
Well, we need to get some seats, right? But I just want to, this is how nice of a guy he is. Here you go.
This is Brian Holinka, and you're listening to Technically PvP.
What?
There you go.
What? You're kidding me.
Nope. So we did that, and then after I was done talking with him, I turn around and leaning up on the railing, because right behind that is the start of the demo area, right? And I see a gentleman standing there, and I'm like, I recognize him from last time. That's Jeremy McIntyre, the lead of the WoW esports. And so I chatted with him for a sec. I tried to get him to open up a little bit and maybe give us a little hint, but nope, he was pretty strong. He's like, nope, it's all about this weekend is about this culmination. This is all we're going to focus on, and anything else after that is going to come out,
later.
It'll come out later, right? Just keep your ears peeled. But yeah, so I asked him for a little favor, and here we go.
This is Jeremy McIntyre with WoW Esports, and you're listening to Technically PvP podcast.
Nice.
I need to pick my jaw off the floor. To remind everybody, because we've talked a little bit about this, Gerissar did receive a media pass, and apparently that imbued him on high with the special gift of being at the right place at the right time to like very much legitimize our podcast.
So, I want to say that whoever at the Blizzard,
the panel, the room where they sat down,
whoever decided that they were going to give our podcast a media pass, thank you.
Oh gosh,
thank you.
Shout out to that person.
Yeah,
indeed.
You are the real MVP.
And I'm going to say that they are, because I didn't waste it. I could have like just said thank you very much for the free ticket and just sat in the floor with the rest of you guys and just did what we did last time. But no, instead, I got in contact with a PR person and I asked them, because first time, so what exactly does this entail? And they're like, well, we have this media room over here, and by media room, it was a very small fabric covered area with some lights to do some video work if you needed to, but you were like still in the hall. Like there was no soundproofing whatsoever, but they allowed us to do 1-on-1. Well, actually 1v4, because I asked for the whole team. They asked for whatever you wanted, but I ended up getting interviews for the whole team. And it was only the winners. The WoW esports people and all the handlers and that. decided that talking to the people that had just lost, especially we were dealing well in the lower bracket the first time, right? So talking to the people that just lost their chance at winning BlizzCon and were, basically sent home was not a good time to talk to them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
which
Obviously.
makes sense. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I mean, I wanted to talk to everybody, but I'm okay with that.
Well, they want to make sure that they're putting a positive spin on the game and putting the game in a positive light, and talking to somebody who just lost. Obviously, they're going to be bitter. That's human nature.
Mm-hmm.
Not exactly the best time to shine a good light on that particular incident.
Through their head, right?
Oh yeah, no. I mean, you got to imagine that these players have a ton of emotions piling in. I mean, they've busted their butts all year, and their dreams and hopes and effort has been crushed. And so that's not I mean, there was a great video one time of a MMA fight where Joe Rogan was pushed to interview a person who had just suffered a massive loss and a concussion, and the interview did not go well. Did not go well at all. And there was a huge backlash from the MMA community about it. And so it's generally wise to stick with the people who are winning for interviews rather than those who have just recently lost, because they're not really in a good frame of mind to be talking about, the game in all honesty without a ton of emotion behind it.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. I get that. I do. I mean, I prefer to get everybody and anybody.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if the next time I'm going to get a meaty pass or not, right? So I want to take full advantage. But I get the fact that, talking to somebody who is on a major downer and upset is not the good time to talk to them, because they may say things that doesn't go well.
It might sound like Botars when he wins.
Maybe. We'll see. All right. So that said, let's roll into the interviews. I'm going to do this a little bit differently, because I know the MDI actually happened on day 2, but I did get a chance to talk to Free Marcy, who won the whole MDI, and I want to start with that. So here, let's hold on for a sec. I gotta find my mouse again so I can go like this, and let's do a little time warp here.
Hey guys, Technically PvP, Gerissar here, sitting down with Free Marcy, just taking out the Method NA team, hashtag PodChamps. You guys rocked it. You guys cleaned house. You guys were like, if I'm not mistaken, you guys 2-0 both your tournament matches that you had today. It seemed like a very solid, clean sweep. Now, Mythic Dungeon Invitational, still kind of new in comparison to a lot of the esports that is in the Warcraft stage this weekend, as well as been in the years. First and foremost, how do you guys feel about the current status of the BFA Mythics, and in comparison to, let's say, what we were seeing in Legion?
Dungeons are mostly just a lot slower nowadays. Back in Legion, we had AoE Silence, Blood Elf, and we also had way more damage, so you could just massive pull packs, and we also didn't have Infested. Infested slows things down a lot, and because of that, it's made dungeons significantly slower. And it's kind of a good and bad thing, I guess, because sometimes people don't like the whole entire dungeon AoEing at one pull type thing. They've also made classes a little bit more balanced in a way, but because before it's like you had classes that actually just did 0 AoE, and then you had like monks, demon hunters just deleting packs on their own. Tanks are so much weaker. They need to actually be healed, which I don't kind of like. I mean, you can ask the healer about that. I think it's pretty cool that the DK or the tank can just self-sustain, and the healer can just go full damage, switching into offensive gear and going full damage into bosses. Like on our, I think it was this year's MDI, last MDI, our healer was playing Paladin, and he was actually just doing more damage than all the DPS with wings. It looked like a rep Paladin. It was pretty awesome just being able to delete bosses like that.
All right, the affixes, they've always been kind of key to what seems to make Mythic Dungeons really, really as terrible as they can be, or as awesome as they can be, depending on how much you like a challenge. What did you guys think of the affixes that they threw at you guys for these dungeons you guys ran in this tournament?
They were fine. I used to hate Infested. I'm a little bit more okay with it now, but I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that we were all able to play Night Elf. It kind of breaks the affix, but the Underworld affixes were good. Raging made the second boss room pretty interesting. What were the other fixes? Oh yeah, that was a nightmare. Don't do that again. Don't do that again. The rest were fine, honestly. I mean, I don't like affixes in general. If it was up to me, affixes wouldn't exist. I don't like them at all. I don't like that it can, more so on live, because like you can't, like if you're into pushing high keys or whatever, you got to wait for the right week. It's just, I don't like it.
The RNG of affixes is almost too much. All right, awesome guys. Well, I guess how much work did you guys have to go through to get yourselves to the professional level that you're at right now? And if you could talk 0, really? Okay, just that. You're okay. I guess to my listeners, if anybody was looking at trying to get to this level, what would you give them as a piece of advice?
I guess we all started out raiding, right? Yeah, so get good at raiding first, and then it all sort of trickles down. We don't really spend that much time in dungeons, contrary to what people might think. I work full time. When I get home, you'd think they'd all be on waiting for me, but I have to actually drag them on, even though they all do nothing. I don't know. We just get good at raiding. I guess that's it, because it's all the same thing, really. A little bit more talking, a little bit more communication in this sort of stuff, but yeah, it's all the same. It's all the same thing.
All right, and I guess one last question. Do you guys normally play with add-ons, or do you guys play like just without add-ons, just so you're prepared for things like today?
We're allowed to.
You guys allowed to have add-ons? We're not allowed to have that in arenas. Oh,
you really can't do PvE without add-ons. There's like no way.
Really?
You can, but you're severely disadvantaged if you do that.
You can, but it's more the fact that add-ons has just been like a part of PvE since the dawn of time. It's just the norm, right? People have made add-ons and UIs that are just custom to their appearance. Like some people like having certain abilities in the middle of the screen. Some people have gotten more accustomed to how, like people at PvP are probably more adjusted to having the default UI, seeing their cooldowns where they usually are. But a lot of people generally get like the cooldowns in the middle of their UI, so they can see their rotation a lot easier. Also, add-ons like dungeon fight, like Deadly Boss mods, big wigs. That's been a thing since like day one, and people rely on that quite a lot. And yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, all right. Well, hey guys, thank you very much for the quick chat, and best of luck in your futures. Cheers.
All right, so now we're back to our real time. So that was Free Marcy talking with them after they had just finished beating Method NA during the Mythic Dungeon Invitational. I have to admit, after I asked the question, they're like, "Yeah, we have add-ons." I totally forgot about that. I felt like such a noob, but I found even more so the fact that they thought that we play PvP without add-ons normally. I thought that was really interesting.
No, it's like we, during an unlanded game, it's add-ons galore.
I know, right?
Gladius, Losa, whatever you can use to get an edge. But when you're on the land, they take that away so that it's just skill versus skill and not this computer telling you in your ear, oh, you have to do this now. Which it kind of feels like that's what they're doing now. And that really detracts for me from their gameplay.
Mm-hmm. So apparently they even have an add-on so much where they can actually map out the path in the dungeon to find them, and they just follow the line.
No way.
Yeah.
You've got to be kidding me. That
so they don't have to.
Why is that ridiculous? Why? Tell me why that's ridiculous.
Because there comes a point where you need to really test people, and that's why I really enjoy the lands of World of Warcraft.
For a second, are we going to believe that the best dungeon teams in the world don't already know this?
What do you mean?
Exactly that. Like, are you really going to... They already know that. They already know the best routes. They already know. You best believe they already have an exact route, an exact plan. Like, do we honestly think that teams are going to go into this and say, like, well, who knows? We'll just take the route the line that shows up on the floor, like maybe we'll guess or something, like, and figure out when we
how different do you think would the WoW Arena World Championship have been if people had been allowed to use add-ons?
The RMPs would have been completely different.
It would have Method Orange would not have won.
I don't know.
I mean, I'm going to throw it out there. I don't think Method Orange would have won if the crutch of add-ons would have been in play.
I think,
but without the add-ons, we got to see pure skill versus pure skill. Not saying that they're not amazing players. I'm not trying to detract from that. Obviously they're amazing. They won. It wasn't even like a sponsored team. It was this group of guys that love the game and play it for the sake of the game. When the MDI invitation, when the Mythic Dungeon Invitational opened up to the public for anybody to try out, they went in and they knew their classes, they knew their rotations, they had a plan, they did all that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just a little disappointed that they did all that with the crutch of add-ons.
Yeah, I don't know. Personally, I feel like it's different because I feel like PvE is scripted. It is scripted. Like, there's no question about that. WoW's PvP. You can make an argument for the PvP being scripted, but it's very different in the sense that you don't always get to follow the script. You can follow the script, but that's not always the best play. In PvE, the best play is always to follow the script. You know what I mean? So, like, I feel like add-ons don't really give you a bonus to be able to help to tell you when, like.
Okay, you
to follow
now,
the same exact
Andolin.
script. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
have you raided at all this expansion?
I'm in a raid right now. I don't know.
So do you have deadly boss mods?
Yes.
Okay. So the fact that it literally tells you to the second when the spell is starting to be cast, when the ability is coming, all of that already pre-planned out in the script is not a little bit or a lot of a crutch.
When to use your defensive?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, it literally tells you push X button now.
Yeah, a raid is a lot different than, and I think it's like
how is it any? It's just about the size of your group. That's all it is. Because, and this is partially why I don't do a lot of raids, is because it is a dance. Yeah, dungeons are the same size. And when you have the thing scripted in Deadly Boss mods, or whatever add-on they're using that they literally track on the floor, the map that they have to follow, I mean, it just detracts from what I thought they were better than what they actually are.
So I want to be careful here. I think the players, I mean, they put a lot of work into doing this. They
put a lot of
homework. Wait.
Okay, go for it.
They put a lot of homework to find that best path. They did a lot of homework, and they don't know what the affixes are, so they have to tweak a little bit to respond to how those are going to be on the fly for the dungeons that are presented to them. I do agree that the amount of assistance that they get for add-ons in MDI does help them in a way that I think it almost makes me feel like some add-ons should be available for PvP. Like maybe not Gladiosa, or maybe not Gladius or whatever, that shows trinkets and helps you track your DRs and everything like that. Maybe that's a little bit too much, but at least maybe I don't know. Maybe something so you don't have to memorize and run, a ton of scripts just to make the UI do what you want.
I think it makes sense not to have add-ons for PvP.
I think that there's some leeway there that maybe if they're going to let MDI use add-ons, I think there should be some leeway given to Arena for add-ons. If they want to hold true that the cleanliness of esports should be no add-ons, then I think they should get rid of add-ons in MDI. I can't be one and not the other.
I agree.
And yes, that's a little black and white.
Go ahead, Angela.
I feel like absolutely it can, because like esports Yeah, great. They're both esports, but like just because like Overwatch is 6v6 doesn't mean that Arena has to be 6v6. Like just because you're allowing some add-ons in MDIs does not mean I don't think that has any variance or any resemblance of what arenas should look like. In all honesty, I mean, like I get your point, but I honestly believe I don't think that should have any variance. They're different beasts. And
I
they
think we're
work on
talking.
different
We're talking
mechanics.
apples and oranges, is what you're saying.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
But can you at least agree with me that it's much more impressive to watch a PvP team track their diminishing returns in their head on the fly in the heat of a fight than it is to wait for deadly boss mobs to say, "Oh, hey, your DR's down. Your DR's finished."
Well, I don't know because first, there's a lot more things that you have to track number-wise in PvE than you do PvP. It's easier to track a DR than it is to track every other single timer. Okay, so it is apples and oranges in some sense, but at the same time, I think PvP is harder no matter what. Raiding and dungeons are easy in my opinion. It's just a matter of who can do them the fastest.
Yeah, and my thing is that if PvP is harder, which I think we all agree, that PvP cannot be pre-planned, it cannot be pre-scripted, it can, I mean, there are certain things that we can do that, you know, there are certain add-ons that we use that can help us, but at the same time, it's not like the game is telling you, push counterspell now. Whereas in PvE, the game is telling you, push counterspell now.
Right, because it's a straight script.
Yeah,
Yep.
And so it's not as... And the fact that they're running the straight script with the add-on telling them, hey, do this now. I'm not... And don't get me wrong, guys. These are the best players in the world at Mythic Dungeons. Okay? Not taking that away from them or diminishing that at all. They did it the fastest. They did it the cleanest. They are the best players in Mythic Dungeons in the world. It's just a little disappointing to hear that they did it with add-ons, and that's
Understood.
You know,
that's how you feel about it.
See, but I feel like
fine.
you need a little bit more of a legitimate point to back that up. In all honesty, like because I mean
I don't run add-ons in dungeons. I don't run add-ons in raids.
Sure, yeah. So
I don't.
mean, so maybe there's an element of like at first it seemed an element of admitting that I really don't know, but it makes it seem a little lackluster now.
Yeah.
So like because I'm gonna be honest, I don't see how in dungeons something for the best team in the world, how telling them to press plus now helps them. They know that already. They're going to do that already. That like
so you're proving my point. You're proving my point.
Actually,
why do they need the add-on?
No,
so why do they need the add-on?
Guys, I want to point out one thing: is that there's a couple of things that aren't controlled by the add-ons, though. Like when they push lust, that is a personal decision, and that can make or break their run. What we're talking about is, and I think this is the part where Andalin is saying is it's a script, anyways. I mean, the boss's emote when they're going to do an ability. So whether an add-on tells them to push defensive A now or
it's the boss, it's
or not, you just watch for the emote, you do it.
So
I can see that,
give them? But... So why give them? I mean, if they already know it, why do they need the add-on?
Yeah, and that's a good point.
I mean, if it's already a scripted dance and they already know it, why do they need the add-on?
Okay, but
I think we beleaguered this, guys.
I want to hear his response because I think I've made a very definitive point here.
So, like, if you want to take that route, you can argue it from the same stance, though, because if it doesn't make a difference, then why does it matter?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're giving them a safety net. Because it does matter. Because if I have a safety net, I am more willing to risk than if I don't have a safety net.
Okay, guys, I think we're come down to the decision that the two of you aren't going to agree. So how about we just agree to disagree, and let's move on to the next interview. All right.
Nice.
Okay, so let's do another time warp, and this time
we will talk about this later.
All right, let's do another time warp, and this time. Oh, sorry, Andalin, I was talking. What?
I said Windstead has a date with Destiny.
Hey, we got it for free from BlizzCon.
Dude, I'm still salty. I paid $60. That was the worst announcement, by the way. Other than Diablo Immortal. I'm just kidding. It's a meme at this point.
All right, let's go ahead and time warp back to BlizzCon.
Yeah, we're gonna time warp, and this time we're gonna talk to Joe Fernandez.
All right, hey guys, it's Gerissar from Technically PvP again. Sitting down with Joe Fernandez, the Warrior King himself, rank 1 EU. Now caster on the desk. I'm here for BlizzCon. Casted last day, a bunch of games yesterday. I'm going to cast some more games today. Just first of all, Joe, tremendous pleasure. Thank you very much for coming to do this with me. And my first real question for you is, what did you have to do to prepare yourself from not just playing the game, but now being able to sit in front on a desk under those bright lights in front of the camera and be able to articulate for us, the watchers, what's actually happening on the screen?
It took like a lot of preparation. I've been practicing since the start of January this year. So it was building up to that, and then having the LAN experience in Poland as well as in Sydney, that helped me prepare for the cameras and things like that, which led to this moment. And yeah, it's a pleasure to cast at BlizzCon as well.
Excellent. And there was a period of time there where you're also helping out on that Resurgent Esports as well, right? With Dillypoo?
Yeah, we were doing the Resurgent Esports. Yeah, we did, I think, a couple of streams. So that was Saturday and Sunday. And yeah, that was really good as well. Good experience to just get in there, give casting a go, and see how it is formed on that kind of setting, which also helped with the APAC Cups as well, since we did those two. I think I was with Super Tees, though, and Dilly was with Adrian. But
that's awesome. So I guess before that, you were a competitor here. So what is it like being a former competitor and now seeing people that you're playing against, as well as a bunch of the up-and-coming teams? How does that feel to you?
It feels great to see the people competing. I actually kind of miss it myself as well. It's always fun to compete and see, people win as well. And it's just so exciting to see a lot of my friends that are still competing at a high level, getting really close to winning BlizzCon. And yeah, it's nice to do that. But casting is a lot more chill for me, at least. And it's nice and laid back, but it's also got its own challenges. And I really enjoy casting.
Excellent. I can imagine. I can see it in your face because I see how happy you are when you're doing it. And just honestly, the hype screams that come off the desk, I know it gets me going when I'm watching the streams as well. I guess the last one is how much. I know you guys came out here almost a week ago. You're doing a bunch of practice runs, and then even on Thursday, you guys were doing even more rehearsals to get prepared for the Friday and now today games. How much of that was personal, and how much of that was working with the team and learning each other's signals and learning that other aspect of being together on the desk?
Quite a lot of it was like team-based. So, me specifically, we got paired up this year, me with Adrian and Super Tees with Elliot. And we do quite a bit of rehearsals, during the broadcast days. We get a timed period to do that. But also me and Adrian, we wanted to improve on our casting synergy, since this was the first time we were casting. And actually in the hotel rooms, we were just practicing in our solo time just with each other, because we both really enjoy it and want it to be really good for you guys. So it's really fun to do that.
So how did you do that in your own room? Were you watching other people's streams on Twitch?
Yeah, we were looking at VODs on Adrian's laptop, just pretty much sitting on the bed casting together. So that was really fun. Obviously, it's very different. It's hard to get hyped in a hotel room that's hot and we're just laying on the bed super comfy. But it was nice to get a bit of practice with each other and get used to looking at the UI with the VODs and things like that. So it was good.
That's epic. I love it. I'm just now imagining you and Adrian in your pajamas laying on a bed trying to cast. I guess so. That's a good point you brought up, though, is because Adrian's also EU, so it's like the EU team and the NA team. So in the spirit of competition, which team's better?
Oh, it's so tight right now. I mean, EU have been stumping throughout the years, but this year I'm actually really scared of NA, and looking at Method Orange, I think NA may just have EU's number this year.
Oh, that's interesting. Personally, I got my call out is for Gosu Crew. I'm really wanting them to win. Although Method Orange is super strong. They completely obliterated my fantasy bracket to date. Who are you voting for? Which team are you going to cheer for exactly?
I mean, I've got to cheer for Skill Cap EU because they're my former teammates. I do love playing with them, and I think all four of them are incredibly skillful. But I just feel like they don't have an answer to deal with Method Orange. I feel like Method Orange have a super strong composition and playing it well. And I just don't see Skill Cap EU taking them out, so that's why I'm a bit skeptical. I don't know if there's a team that can take out Method Orange.
Well, let's see if you're right. Well, time will only tell, right? Well, Joe, it's been an absolute pleasure talking with you, and good luck out there.
Thanks so much. It's been a pleasure to talk to you as well, and keep up the good work too.
Thanks.
So, since
So
I'm going to stop.
I want to me.
Pardon me?
All I can say is he agreed with me. Method Orange didn't win it. He called it as well.
It was pretty tight. That was I love talking to Joe. He is so personable. Man, oh man.
I miss him.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I mean, he was helping you there with Resurgent Esports until he switched over to the Blizzard side.
Oh, I'm so proud of him. But yes.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you. I mean,
to be a stepping stone for him, I don't think I could have won anything more. Like
other than him staying with you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
All right.
I'm sure we'll find him a guest spot sometime soon.
Oh yeah.
That'll be really fun.
Well, actually, that's a good point. It's not like he's a permanent employee. It's more like he's just like a contractor, right? So nothing stops him from.
Yep, exactly. Like Dilly as well will be. He's not going anywhere fast. So
nice.
Well, I mean, he is going somewhere fast, but he's like, you can get
around the block.
He's going somewhere fast only because he is the rap god. Dilly Poo.
Rap god.
Yeah, he is rap god. All right, guys. So, man, oh man. So, if you can imagine, this was actually day 2, right? So,
we can hear Gerissar's voice progressively getting worse and worse and worse.
Oh, yeah. Yes, it was. So actually, I got to talk to Joe there around noon on the Saturday, and then Free Marcy just shortly after that. So those two are actually kind of backwards, but you can hear how bad my voice was. But now what we're going to do is we're actually going to take a little trip back in time, and we're going to head back to day 1, and we're going to talk to the first winners, which was Tempo Storm when they got their first win on the lower bracket. It was the first match of the day, right? Against who are they up against? Shoot, I'm going to make this wrong. Super Frogs. That's right. It was a really super close match. Pun intended. All right. You like
not
that?
Nice, bro.
Come on, fam. All right.
Too soon.
So let's do this, and let's hear what Temple Storm had to say about that match.
So hey everybody, Gerissar here from Technically PvP, sitting down with Tempo Storm after their win, taking out Super Frogs during the lower bracket. Just a quick question, guys. So it seemed like a very close match. It was very back and forth. You looked like very strong either on your Outlaw and Fire Mage versus your Turbo. Out of the two comps that you guys played, which one would you say is you're probably more comfortable of playing right now, especially Bochar, you being brand new into the team?
I think Turbo is always way easier to play, especially with Outlaw. The setups have to be perfect in order to kill someone. Anything goes wrong, you won't kill.
All right, excellent. So out of that, I noticed on your Shaman, especially, I'm just going to focus on you for a sec, Bochar. On your Shaman there, you literally ran around a pillar for a whole game with almost a full mana bar, and yet none of your team died. How did you do that?
Resto Shaman doesn't really now, except you actually spam purge. Resto Shaman just has the mana pool to do whatever you want.
Mana bar for Resto Shaman is a utility bar. It's not actually a healing bar. That's just how the class works right now, sadly.
Fair enough. It goes to show what I know about Resto Shamans. All right, so I know after this you guys are going to be up against the whoever wins in the next matchup, but after that we're going to be looking at whoever drops down out of the winner's bracket, which, if I'm not mistaken, is between Gosu Crew and Method Black. Out of the two, which team would you guys rather go against, and why?
Well, before we get there, we have to first beat the winner of Reformed and making a movie, which is going to be really tough. As to the winner of Gosu Crew and Method Black,
We've met Method Black a couple times online, and we've gotten the better end of them. And the Ghost of Tsukuyomi seems really, really strong in practice. I feel like we're going to see Method Black drop down, and if they do, then we have revenge planned, because they made it a tradition basically that before any big game of ours, they will drill our opponents literally 8 hours. And just today, it happened again that in 2 days in a row, they would just give Super Frogs any practice they wanted for free, basically. So maybe there's a grudge. I can't tell. Maybe it benefits them as well. But I'm gonna have a word about that if we meet them.
It's almost like everybody's fighting against you guys. All right. I guess just trying to go to the humanity side here. So returning champion. You guys, I mean, you've been to BlizzCon before, right? But this is probably the closest you guys are going to get. This is the first time you're working in such close proximity with some veteran champions. How do you guys feel about this, and where do you guys think you're going to be? You think you're going to be working towards more BlizzCons in the future?
I mean, definitely. This is an internship, so for me, So, yeah.
I mean, I'm a champion from last year as well. If you didn't know, but yeah, you better be. Yeah, I mean, I like this team. Like we're good friends. It's we have a good atmosphere. It's fun. I think we'll keep going.
And yeah, definitely, you guys look like whether you guys won the match or lost the match, you guys seem very casual behind the screens when we're watching you. So I want to thank you very much for talking with me, and that's about it I have. Any other comments, Jan, or anything you want to say?
I want to thank Temple Storm and Red Bull, who basically always stood behind us even when it looked bad. And with the decisions that we made, and Temple Storm has just been so good to us, I want to say thanks. And shout out to them and our manager Hampus, who takes good care of us.
Thank you very much, guys. Have a great one, eh?
Have a great one, eh?
I was thinking something along the very same lines there. Only I was going to be like, so great interview, hoser, eh?
Yeah.
Well, I had to throw in the Canadianism, eh?
Hey, yeah.
Eh?
Eh.
No, I felt so bad. I was talking to Botar and Alec, and for some reason, I forgot that Nixie had won last year as well.
Yeah,
so I was
I
just
know.
like, oh,
I was like,
yeah,
ooh.
yeah. That was a little bit. So I left that in there because, yeah, hey, I'm still a PvP apprentice, so right. No, it's all good. No, they took it really well. Such a great team to talk to, and like Alex said, it was interesting just because of the dynamics behind the scenes there with who was getting the time to practice and do war games against other comps similar to theirs to try it, it was that weird kind of
almost trying to scalp.
Pardon me?
I mean, I almost think of the terminology is in my mind is like you're trying to help somebody get a scalp.
Yeah, almost. Yeah.
They went with the Super Frogs and were letting them spar against them, so to speak, against the the turbo comp that they run.
Yeah. I remember something similar. I remember hearing that I want to say it was a couple of years ago. I want to say it was 2016 maybe, where the Australian team, some of the teams got knocked out a little early, and they were giving a bunch of tips to the Australian team to make them better so that they could. It was almost like bolstering them to take out the competition, because the one team knew they could take out the Australian team, but they hoped the Australian team would take out their enemy. So it's very the whole tournament seems to be very much the enemy of my enemy is my kind of friend for now.
Yeah, no, there's a whole nother game that's being played behind the scenes. And I'm so happy that you were able to get these interviews, because we're beginning to see a little bit behind the curtain, what's going on behind the scenes with these players, and something to come up with, like Method Orange, which I can't remember because we've listened to a couple of these interviews before. The fact that they came into the game cold because no one would play with them before the final. All the other
that was a little bit of a different thing too, but sorry.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still that game behind the scenes where everybody had lost, and they Method Orange wanted to like warm up. They wanted to get a game in or two that they could, wiggle their fingers a little bit and be fresh and ready to go up against Gosu Crew, who had been on stage for it was their third consecutive match. And so they were already in the mindset. They were already gaming. They were already nice and ready and hyped up to go into the next round.
One could almost say that they were overstressed and tired too, because they just did two major tournament matches. But wait, we're getting a little bit ahead of. Whoa! Okay, that's the finals, man.
Yeah.
We're still on day one here. But Andelin, sorry, you were thinking of something you want to say there?
I missed the part where no one would play with them.
Yeah, after they before they got into the finals, when Gosu Crew was going against.
So the thing is, what Windstead is talking about is the audio that we haven't played yet. He's getting ahead of us.
Okay, I'll slow down. Yeah. My time walking. Obviously, I need to get back into the main timeline. I'm running around a little bit.
Clearly.
Yeah. All right. So I think where are we at here? Oh yeah. So the next one's going to be the making a movie right after they had just taken out Reformed. So let's listen to this one.
Hey guys, this is Gerissar from Technically PvP, sitting down with Making a Movie right after taking down Reformed. You guys, again, very big back and forth. One of the most prominent European jungle cleaves you guys were up against. Massive amounts of damage. I know it looked like every time you guys are about to die, then you lived. Right up by your healing god, and regardless of what healer you're on, it looks like. And then yet, at the same time, Relza was a very strong healer as well, keeping his team alive, regardless of how much mana he didn't have for most of the games. I guess just where was your guys' thinking? How did you guys figure out the way to finally get that win condition and get that kill, especially right up to the very final end when they went up against it with you, not jungle, but RMP?
For us to play into RMP as DH Boomkin was we actually liked that they picked it into us, because it was nearly impossible for us to get any practice, any war games into jungle. But there's plenty of people that play Arampala, so when they picked Arampala, we exactly knew how to use our cooldowns, our win conditions, our like defensives, everything was cohesive as a unit, because we practiced that so much, where against jungle things are a bit more shaky. But in both of those matchups, Arampala and jungle, it's mostly about outliving their offensive force, because eventually they run out of steam, and then we blast them with the Incarn when they're or when they're low on cooldowns, and that's how we eventually secure the victory.
That's awesome. So, in fact, actually, they kind of played right into you guys of what you wanted them to do, which is awesome. Was there any mind games that you guys had to go through to try to? Were you guys trying to mind game at all in the counter picks and the map picks to try to make them do something you wanted them to, or was that just a stroke of luck?
No, I don't think there were any mind games, at least from our part, because we knew that DH Boomkin was our best pick into Arampala and jungle, and that was all they were gonna play into us. So we just went with our best pick, and that was kind of easy for us to like decide that actually.
That's awesome. Just thinking about the year and how the amount of work you guys had to try to get to where you are to be here today. How did you guys feel that, especially the 3 seasons of the Cups, and then also the changeover from Legion to BFA? How did that make you guys feel? Did it feel okay throughout the whole sequence, or did it feel like a major struggle?
It felt kind of okay. We had like problems with BFA, because RMP was not that strong for us. But we ventured into more healers, we ventured into more comps, and overall it was a pretty good year for us. We went to every LAN, we placed really good in online cups. Can't complain about that.
So I know you guys kind of put yourselves together, if I'm not mistaken, at the very beginning of this year, right? If I'm not mistaken on that. I may be wrong. You guys are looking at me funny. Okay, so I guess looking forward, regardless of how Blizzcon is going to turn out, are we going to see Making a Movie, continuing to make movies throughout the next year? PvP,
we're not sure yet. We got to see what's coming. So.
All right. One last question, and I can delete this one out if you guys want me to. I've seen a couple things coming out from Botar during the opening day. Now there's a tweet from Chanimals, again, talking about the lack of funding and the lack of money. Honest feels, guys. How do you guys feel about the prize pools and where the game is at right now as a pro tournament player?
I think the scene is improving in terms of prize money and tournaments. Like I think we saw this year, like with more online cups and like more lands, we had like way more income from prize money. It's still hard to make a living out of that, but I think they're improving and the viewer numbers are like increasing as well. So I think it's gonna just get better in the next years.
Awesome, I understand. Well said, guys. Well, I want to thank you again, and best of luck in the next coming tournaments. You guys have a hard road to go.
You want to know something that's really impressing me?
What's that?
With all of these interviews, the players are so nice.
Mm-hmm. These guys were nothing but nice and professional.
Yeah, they were.
I loved it.
But it seems like that's the way all the interviews are going. It's like all of them are just very cordial, mannered, professional, on the ball kind of people.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, bear in mind too. I mean, these are after exciting wins too. Like, I'm not saying they're like actually bad people. I'm just saying like there's a lot to be excited about, you know. And well, so like
there's a lot to be excited about. But
there's like a real aura in the room when they walk in, and they all have smiles, like chin to, like, you know, ear to ear, just boom.
Yeah, but I mean that can often lead people to hubris and really being like, yeah, true. No, we've got this. We're gonna smash everyone's face because nobody compares to us. And there's been none of that. Everybody's been very, but yeah. So but you have a lot of that hubris and really downplay a lot of people. But no, everybody's been very, you know, attentive to the fact that there are other players and that they are really good and that they are very grateful for the spot that they're in and for the opportunity to try and push further.
All right, yeah. So here we are. We're having a few technical difficulties. So if anybody's listening to this and it sounds why we're kind of jolting a little bit and changing subjects really fast without transition, that's why.
It's Windstead's fault.
Yeah. It's all about Windstead and his faults. All right. So let's take another time warp, and this time we are going to talk to the Chinese team, Pen and Paper, after they just finished their win in the lower rounds.
Hey everyone, it's Andelin here for Technically PvP Podcast, and we're talking with the team Pen and Paper here, who just came out in a very nice, decisive win in their series up against Cohesion Dream. Guys, thank you so much for being with us today. I wanted to go ahead and ask you a few questions. The first is, you know, you guys have really started to put together a lot of excitement for your team. You've come out very strong, and everyone is very excited about what you guys have been able to prove to yourselves. I'm kind of curious about how you guys feel and what have you done to prepare, because everything it seems like you've done so far has been very calculated, and you guys have generated answers for every team that you've played against. So could you tell me a little bit about what kind of preparation you've done to get to this point in the tournament?
是这样的，就是很多观众都喜欢你们，然后就知道你们这个队伍啊，就是一起组成到现在，一起比赛，一起参与这个 PVP 赛事。你们是如何去做准备的？
就是我们每天从线上每天一起游戏，一起竞技。最开始我们没有组成队伍的时候，几个人是就是闲暇之余，因为玩的比较好，能玩到一起，然后一起慢慢打完后组建成这个队伍，然后也坚持了2年了，然后我们互相都比较合得来吧，然后每天都在不停的练习，然后为比赛而准备。
So we have practice on-side or off-side for 2 years every day. So we have good relationship. Yeah, we practice well for these competitions. So that's all.
Perfect. That's excellent. It is definitely showing. You know, you guys have really started to pick up a lot more energy here for not just yourselves, but also the Chinese region and APAC region as a whole. So I'm kind of curious about going forward. You know, what does that mean for you guys? Do you feel an extra pressure maybe now as the only APAC team remaining in the tournament with a little bit more of a burden on your shoulders, maybe carrying the region?
是这样的，就是亚太包括中国区域，其实你们是现在唯一的一个一直存活的队伍。你们现在是心情怎么样？你们现在受到了很大的压力嘛？你现在心情怎么样？
其实我们现在还是挺坦然的，因为我们
最开始的时候，我们定的目标已经完成了，后面的话我们肯定会继续努力。然后，既然是已经赢了嘛，这肯定也会就是好好准备接下来的比赛。 At first, our first goal is to win 8 games. So, the first goal is accomplished, right?
Actually, we have already finished our goal this tournament. So we think that it is okay, and we feel calm. We feel excited about that. So it's enough.
Perfect. That's fantastic. So just as a last question here, I'm kind of curious to see what you guys maybe so far in this tournament. What has been your biggest challenge? And maybe what do you anticipate as being your biggest challenge here going forward? Because we're super excited. We believe you guys have what it takes to be able to make it to the finals.
就是这样的，就到目前为止啊，你们遇到的最大挑战是什么？或者说未来的比赛中，你们可以预见的最大挑战是什么？因为很多观众觉得你们会一直走到最后，走到决赛。
我觉得我们的队伍能走到现在已经是相当不错了。然后欧美的队伍都很强，所以我们要经过更充分的准备才能战胜他们。不过我们可能最大的敌人可能是我们的心态，如果我们能调整好我们的心态，我们会走得更远。
We think we have doing well so far. So the Europe and NA team is so strong. So maybe the first challenge is how to keep calm in the competition. Yeah, that's all.
Excellent. Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time, letting us kind of celebrate here with you. So thank you so much. We appreciate you. Best of luck going forward. Okay, guys?
That must have been so much fun, Andelin. Thank you for doing that for me, because my voice was done.
Dude, that was a highlight, actually. It's so cool having a translator next to you, and just like, they're just like looking at you like, you know, some of them are looking at you like, I have no idea what you're saying right now, but the other ones are looking at you like intently, like, I don't want to mess this up.
I really think that you cut off that interview just a little too soon, because the translator didn't have an opportunity to respond and tell them exactly what Andelin had said in his closing remarks.
Oh, they did. They did.
Yeah, but the interview got cut off early. We didn't get to hear that.
Oh, you want to listen to the Chinese?
Yeah, no, I was really enjoying it. So much better than listening to your voice.
I know.
Oh.
Yes.
So I don't remember seeing
because I was the only. I was just going to say I was the only one of this crew that did not get invited to do an interview.
Yeah, because you were at your hotel, not at BlizzCon.
I didn't get invited. You guys are dicks.
No, it's okay.
And I'm pouting now.
You decided to go hang. You decided to leave us and go hang with your wife. We know how it is.
That's
so
true.
We just carried on and did our own thing. It's okay. But I have to.
I'll keep this a clean-rated podcast.
There's a female voice there, and I don't remember seeing a female player.
So
who was she?
Female was the other translator.
Oh, okay.
So she had kind of caught a little bit better. Better translation, I guess, and she was like, "I got this." You know what I mean? Like, he kind of like had like a puzzled look on his face for a second, and then just kind of like, you know, what's it called? Diverted to her, you know?
Oh, okay, all right. Either way, I just suddenly there's a new voice there, and I'm like,
I know,
I'm
right?
seeing a female on the stage. It was really interesting. Okay. All right, well, let's move on to our next interview, and this one is with the Australian team Order right after they had made their win in the lower bracket.
All right, this is Gerissar from Technically PvP sitting down with Order, formerly known as Mad Dogs, straight from the great continent of Australia, up here kicking some serious butt. So, guys, you just went in. You just fought your way through, which looked like a fairly good fight. Looked like it took a bit to get yourselves together before you were able to take the final wins there. I'm just wondering, what was the process in where you guys decided to go to take down your opponents?
We knew that Red War beat Shadowpriest Assassin, so the RPS game on Ruins where we lost was kind of like a misplay on our end, and then we knew that we had the counter pick afterwards, so we were safe. Like we had the confidence we'd win the game.
All right, excellent. So knowing what your opponents had helped you out a lot there. So the three of you have been playing together for mostly a year and a half, about 2 years, right? And then Featherfeet, you're very new to the team. Well, okay, professional, I guess would be the better way to say it, right? Into the actual professional cups. How did it feel joining into a very successful team already, and then finding your way, finding your feet, if you will, into the team?
My first tournament was the start of this year, the first qualifying comp for regionals, and it's kind of just a scrap team put together. We lost all 6 games, and it was more just like an introduction. Like the boys messaged me and picked me up. We already knew we'd have a really strong comp by playing like Warlock Destro, Warlock with Rep Pally and Resto Sham. But yeah, they picked me up, and we did good in the qualifiers, and then they definitely carried me in the regionals.
Nothing like some strong 3K carries, right? All right, I guess in that way, you guys, obviously, because of the way they did all these servers and everything, being from the APAC region, then having to come up here and going head-to-head with some of the strongest teams in NA and the EU, how did you guys find yourselves prepared for that, if you did or not, and where you feel you're at right now as a team?
Going up against like EU and NA has been gave us a lot of experience and knowledge going into these tournaments. Hopefully, like, as we progress and as a team, we'll just learn more. And, you know, even though we're from APAC, you know, competing on a low MS servers, it sort of makes you think that we can compete as a team, and maybe one day we can, do really well here at Blizzcon.
Well, I wouldn't shut yourselves down yet. I mean, I think you guys are doing pretty good already. So, well, hey guys, I don't know, is there anything else you want to say? Give a shout out or something like that, or no? All right. Well, guys, I want to thank you very much for your time. That was about it. So you guys have a great night, and I look forward to seeing more games.
All right. So that was Order. They were really fun to talk to. Such a great group of guys. Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was waiting for it.
Windstead, don't do that to me. Of all the tech difficulties you had, I was like, oh crap.
It's true. It's true. No, it's been technical difficulties. Man, dude, like I said, it just seems like all these players are really nice and really on the level and seem like very genuine people, which makes me really happy because it really kind of shows that our esport is not nearly as toxic as a lot of other esports are. These are our highest level players. These are the guys that we're presenting to the world, and these are guys that just seem so on the level and so respectful. And like he was saying, he that, hey, we're just happy to be here, and we're happy that we are able to compete, and we hope that we can really make a showing for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And they had just beat out one of the best teams in the world, and there they were still showing this nice level of humility and it was just so awesome.
See, this is where I feel bad because I only pay attention to World of Warcraft, so I don't know what the other esports are like. But I would hope that other esports have the similar kind of player attitude at this level, and there isn't somebody showing up and being like, "Yeah, we smoked them. They sucked." I would never expect that, right? And
well, people only do that when they have the security of the internet to hide behind, typically.
Yeah, true.
I mean, when you're face to face with someone, they're a lot less likely. Nerds are a lot less likely to troll and be caustic, But that's just my 2 cents.
True. I mean, at the same time, if somebody has that kind of a personality, chances are they're not getting into a tournament and putting themselves out in the personal space, anyways, because they,
Yeah, but
it's a lot of effort to get out of your mom's basement, right?
Yeah, it doesn't take an architect, an archivist or something to know that, like, the WoW esports, or not the WoW esport, like the WoW community is more toxic than other games on average. But
yeah, all right. So,
but yeah, this is a very good showing from them.
It was.
Oh yeah,
all right.
It was.
let's do another time warp here, and this time let's go into Method Black, as they had just finished their upper bracket, knocking the Gosu crew into the lower bracket.
Hey guys, Andolin here for Technically PvP again. I'm talking with Method Black, who just came off of an incredible victory against the Gosu crew. Guys, you have improved, and like you have showed, you just jumped over an incredible hurdle, taking out the Gosu crew in what was probably the most exciting series we've seen today. So, the whole crowd was wondering, are we going to see a rogue v rogue type of situation here? And so, we watched so many matches here where you guys were waiting, and we're waiting to see what you're going to lock in for a comp. And we were waiting to see what you were going to go, but every single time we stuck with that turbo. So I kind of want to get your guys' perspective on what was the thought process here on going in for that turbo cleave every single time. I mean, obviously it worked out, but we're kind of curious to see because everyone was anticipating so highly this rogue versus rogue type of matchup.
I mean, prior to the match, we literally tried everything to find an alternative answer than turbo. It's like a kind of plan B, but we wargamed so many games, like 35 games or something, only against RPS, and we couldn't find a solid answer. We would have liked to incorporate the rogue somehow, but there was, on our side of the match, there's no good rogue comp you could have played into the rest of Shaman and Shadow. It's just way too tanky. You cannot play a rogue into this kind of tank comp. That's why there was no rogue v rogue.
Yeah, no, I think I completely understand what you mean, and you guys executed it incredibly well, especially with so many other things coming into these matches. So going forward, you guys have now qualified for the semifinals. I hope you're excited. And we're kind of curious to know, what do you think is your biggest challenge kind of going forward from here?
I think all the teams are really good this year. There are two teams playing right now, Skillcapped EU and Method Orange, two really good hard teams, and we're going to play against one of them. But the Ghost crew was our biggest challenge, and we tried so hard to find an answer. We played day after day, just trying to find a comp into RPS, and we thought it was impossible. We tried everything, and we couldn't win. And then today just clicked. From when we came here, we're like, fuck, we can do this. We wargamed, and we started winning today for the first time ever. And we just had it. But I think we're over our biggest burden. Now it's just, how good can we play on the day?
Absolutely, and it's that consistency, I think, what exactly what will push you into this final. So, maybe trying to tap into that just a little bit more. What do you think made this possible? What do you think made it click? Is it just being surrounded by each other? Is it maybe just the hype that comes with it? Maybe just a heightened sense of awareness? Do you have any kind of insight into maybe what it was that was able to kind of help be the glue for everything that just made it click?
So one thing we definitely did better as Turbo now in Topeka was, instead of thinking, okay, how can we live longer, I randomly just said to my team, I don't think the matchup should look like this. I swear we should just run them over and just try to play on CC and just tunnel the SP, do good kicks, and just focus on killing them instead of focusing on, oh, I'm going to sack you in 10. Oh, I have a buff for Vendetta. And just, you can do that meanwhile by running them over. But, as soon as we started running them over, we felt like the game was so much easier to play. Their strength as a team is definitely when they have control and they run you over. And we definitely noticed that they're not that good when they're the ones under pressure. So we just tried to keep the pressure high, and it worked out really well today.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Hey, so just as a last kind of question to wrap up this quick little interview, we'd like to know, who are you rooting for in this match?
I think we're rooting for Skillcapped EU. We know them better than we know Method Orange. We played both teams, and we're doing okay into both. They're both hard teams no matter what happens, but I think we're more comfortable playing against Skillcapped EU.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, guys, for Method Black here. We're all rooting for you. Great job. Thanks so much for your time.
Well done, Andolin. That was a great interview, man.
My voice, dude. Oh my gosh.
And the reason why you did it, because my voice was gone. I think I was on my 8th lozenge in 10 minutes just trying, and I couldn't do it. It was horrible.
You guys are so funny because here I am with just this perfect voice that I'm so good. I could have been doing all these interviews with no scratchiness and
was not really.
Guys.
All I'm saying is that I'm slightly disappointed that I didn't get asked to do an interview.
I couldn't ask you. You weren't around. You were off.
It's true. It was true. I was off
You're off
cosplaying
doing-
and enjoying myself.
Exactly.
Meeting
is fine.
Ian Hazacostas and
Actually, you got to sit while I'm doing interview. While we were doing interviews with Method teams and that, you were off talking to Ian himself. So I got, dude, man, you have nothing to complain about. I'm just wondering where the audio is for that. All right, so that was the conversation we had with Method Black, and then and this is the last one we had for day one, because after this interview with Method Orange on the winner side, there was a bunch more matches. The night went on to almost midnight, but it was really late. Everybody needed we needed to wrap up doing these interviews, and so if anybody's wondering why this is the last one for day one, that's why. The other thing I have to warn everybody: this one, something happened. I'm not sure what exactly. It almost sounds like as I started to do the interview, my microphone I had an external microphone plugged into my phone, and it's almost like it disconnected, and so my phone microphone itself was picking up the whole interview, which means it was picking up a bunch of other stuff. And I tried my darndest. And if anybody listening can help me figure out a way to make the sound better, please, I will gladly remaster the whole thing. But as it is, this is about as good as it's going to get. But here we go.
All right, hey, this is Gerissar again from Technically PvP, sitting down with Method Orange, who just annihilated skill-capped EU, put them in their graves, 3-0. My God, guys. I mean, in a turnaround to some of the other matches we've been watching throughout the Cup, throughout the years, I would say this is probably one of the most decisive tournaments I've seen you guys play, especially at this tier. I just want to say, I remember, Sea-Doo especially, I remember you saying like you had Sam over at your place, you guys were doing a bunch of tournaments, you guys were practicing up the wazoo and practicing for this. Do you felt that really helped nail this tournament as to why you're 3-0, or was it something else that really changed this tournament?
I think that having Sam in the house definitely allowed us to kind of bond more as a team. We get really comfortable with each other as people. I think that's really important. It's just all about that team chemistry. We also had Nez there for about a week or so, and I actually had Trill over a few months before for the previous land, so we're really, really close, and that allows us to be on a level that you can be critical of each other and you can still get constructiveness out of that, and it helps so much for practicing, because sometimes there's always going to be those downs or those lows where you need to kind of pick apart someone, maybe like Messed Up, where they can take that with a grain of salt and be able to perform better. But I think this is probably the most prepared we've ever been for a Blizzcon or a tournament in general as a team. I know it is for me. I've never been more confident walking up on the stage with the players I have behind me and the amount of practice that we put in.
Awesome. Anybody else want to chime in? Nez, do you have a comment on that?
I don't feel the same way as Chuck about Messed Up, by the way.
I love it. But that's a great sign of professionalism, is where you're able to take constructive criticism and take it to develop yourself better, rather than getting upset or getting triggered by it and then making emotional decisions. So I appreciate that. You guys are extremely professional. Sam, Sea-Doo cited a couple times how almost like you're I wouldn't say underrated, but you're not acknowledged for exactly what you bring to the team. And I was just wondering if you could talk about a lot of the work that you've done lately, and just how much you being part of the team has, like what he's talking about, and how much do you think what you brought to the team to bring it up to that other level?
Well, I mean, even when I'm not actually playing any of the games, I'm always talking, like, after every game, I think versus making a movie, Alp is the one who's probably talking the most of all my teammates, just because I'm the one watching the games a lot, I'm playing a lot, but there's also times where I'm sitting on the bench, so I'm just analyzing every game that they play and trying to get feedback on what they can be better and what can be better as a team. And I think it really helps us improve, whenever we have that one guy who's kind of very analytical about what's going on in the games, outside the games, and all that, so, yeah.
All right. I love it. So you're going to change your name to Coach I Am instead of Sam I Am?
Yes.
All right. Trill, if I'm not mistaken, you're the youngest of the group, right? Am I not? Or Sam, you're actually the youngest? I am sorry about that. I'm sorry. It's just a look.
2 months.
Oh, by about 2 months. Okay.
We got 2 dads and 2 young bulls.
There's 2 dads and 2 young bulls. That's awesome. Again, you joining into the team has been almost a turn point, I think, in everything that's come up throughout this year and beyond, I guess, but really this last year. Do you want to talk a little bit about just the things that you've done to get here? Like your career, like how you got from starting WoW up to getting into here. I don't think everybody's ever heard you say what that is.
So I joined. I started raiding with Limit about a year and a half ago.
Yep.
And right in the middle of 2-star heroes progression, these guys, Mez, actually asked me to join a team with Cole and Diva, and that was our team last year. And we got 3rd/8 big stage appearance. I had gone to the 2016 NA regionals as well. We didn't do so well there, but that's kind of where my name was more like knew who I was after that Blizzcon. And then joining forces with CDU and Sam, that solidified even powerhouse teams we can really perform with. And doing both PvP and PvE has been a challenge, but we always make it work. And I think there are benefits for me, particularly, to do both. And I think it's helpful.
Would you say becoming a PvPer, like a hardcore PvPer, has made your PvE better?
I think it makes me more aware of my surroundings, definitely.
Yeah.
And I PvE without add-ons. Like most raiders will have these spaceship UIs with all kinds of V-Guards, and I just play the game.
That is amazing. That's amazing. All right, I just want to round this out. Mez, I don't want to leave you out here.
It's okay.
You
can leave me out if you want. I'm okay with that.
No, back in Legion, you guys were very known for doing your Walking Dead, where you really brought it bouncing between Frost and Unholy DK. Are we going to see some more Mez DK coming up in the next matches here? Are we going to see some more Walking Dead, or is that gone to bed now that we're in BFA?
There's definitely a chance we see Mez DK this summer. There's a strong chance we'll see it at some point.
I like it. Well, I'm sure I'm going to be putting this out after all the series is done, because I don't really have the ability to do that here. Gotcha. So I'm sure I'm hoping to talk to you again, and I'd like to hear about what you did and how you brought it about. All right, guys. Well, I know you guys have things to do. I really appreciate your time, and I look forward to seeing the next games you guys come up with. Is there anything you guys want to say to fans or anything like that, or you give a shout out or anything? Or
I'd like to say one thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So I want to say something. Phil is by far the most analytical player about the game in general. I gotta give you credit where credit's due. But I feel like in the games, I definitely try to iron out everything. What's going on, what's going good, how we're playing, what we should differently. But in terms of the game as a whole, Phil is by far the most analytical player I've ever met.
That's awesome. That's some bro love right there. All right, guys. Thank you very much.
Wow. So
that's some bro love, dude.
That was.
I really want to jump in there and say that, you know what, it's despite some of the comments about not being able to make a living at this sport, we have now two fathers competing, and on top of that, winning. And I wish I had had a little bit more time, because I wanted to make that comment to Sidhu when we had that brief chance with him after they won the championships of like, hey, you proved that a family man can do it. And that is huge.
But he talked about that. He even talked about how much on the stage, and we're if any.
Yeah, no, I'm just agreeing.
Yeah, he talked about that on the stage at the final. The first thing he said is that I couldn't do this if it wasn't for my family back home that supported me. I mean, and Windstead. I mean, you and me, we're both military men.
Yeah,
we go off, we leave the house, and we leave people behind to go and do our business, and we can't do that consciously and like I've been out there doing the stuff, and when things are going kind of sideways at home, you can't focus properly.
No.
Like I remember my first child, my daughter, my ex-wife at the time, she was having a difficult pregnancy, and she hid it from me for almost 6 months. It wasn't until we had left the area and we're transitioning home on our ship that I got an email, and that's when it came to light of exactly how much trouble she was in, and I got flown home immediately. But she hid it from me because she knew that it would have affected me and my ability to do my job.
Oh yeah.
Right.
No, and so props to the families that supported him, man.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And gosh, it's just, it gives me hope that maybe I could quit my day job and go full hard into Twitch streaming and PvP and World of Warcraft, and I could make it.
Well, you have to be kind of good first, though, buddy.
Comrade,
good or entertaining.
Stick around with work. Do not quit day job, please. But no, I was super stoked about the fact that a family man won it, and I couldn't help but remember. You guys ever watch the movie Cinderella Man?
No.
Okay, well, there's this awesome scene in Cinderella Man where this washed-up boxer who gets beat, and he gets out of the game, and then he comes back into the game during the Depression, in the 1920s. 1930s. And he's sitting there, and they're at awe because he's now fought his way back up to a championship match. And they're sitting there and they're talking to him and like, so what's changed, man? When you left, you were good, but you weren't this good. What happened? And he's like, well, I realized what I was fighting for. And the guy's like, oh, really? What was that? Milk. He was fighting for providing for his family.
All right.
And so that I think that little effort, that little twitch in the background now where he's not a college student playing for fun, he's playing to provide for his family, and that can really change a person,
True. Andolin, sorry, did I hear you say something in the background there?
No.
Okay.
No.
I heard a warble that sounded like it was you, so.
No. I'm agreeing, and I like this, and I think it's awesome. It's just there's so many things that tie into it, but like, with Sea-Doo and everything, but the whole being a dad thing, and like, I don't know, I feel like it's the thing that happened 3 times ago was the cherry on top for him. Like his life is a movie right now. And it's like it's incredible.
If his life is a story.
Yeah, he's literally the actual making a movie. No offense to Ratapai and the boys, but like,
yeah, he even admitted, like, he's like, if you actually look at his progression, it was like, was it 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? Like that was his progression through all the BlizzCons.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
That's a story. All right. You guys ready for are you ready? Are you prepared to listen to our interview with the Arena World Champions for 2018?
Oh, yes.
Here we
Get
go.
in there and fight! Stop hiding!
Hey, everybody, this is Technically PvP, Gerissar again, finally sitting down once again with the champions of the 2018 BlizzCon, Method Orange. Guys, what a road. Holy moly. And all the feels, the amount of, my voice is literally gone just from screaming how much you guys and what you did. But so many of those times where like there were some really like super looking greedy plays. We're like wondering why, Sea-Doo, why aren't you dropping your totem yet? Sam, like clutch clones, Trill, the DPS you were bringing out, the the traps you were doing, getting Sea-Doo out of all the CC and everything. I was just amazed, like the amount of close gameplay. I think that just really speaks to exactly what you guys talked about, the amount of practice you guys really put into all this. Tell me a little bit about it. Like, how did it feel going through those games? Was there at any point you guys were scared? And obviously now you guys are overjoyed with winning. But just tell me how you feel about everything. I'm going to start with you, Sam.
Going into those games, even when we were 2-0, 1-0, 3-0, it's like we still have one more. They can easily bring it back, and it's like our mind was always on getting 4 wins. That's all we need, right? So it was definitely scary. And honestly, the Ghost Crew is the team that we feared the most going into the tournament and into the finals. We were just hoping that they would get knocked out, by whoever, Method Black, X, or Pen and Paper. I mean, we just didn't want to fight them. But it wouldn't be a tournament if we didn't fight them, and it feels really good to win against so many great teams. It really feels like we earned these trophies, so I'm really proud.
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Today was a really interesting day for us because we didn't play a single game before we played on stage. Not a game of warm-up, not a game of practice, nothing. We plugged our keyboards and mice in on the main stage with no warm-up, and we played a matchup that we originally used to lose, and we said we're going to do it better, and that's exactly what we did. We worked out the kinks, and we knew exactly what we needed to do to win. We changed a couple things up, and we just had such great communication that we know even if we're getting low, we're relying on someone to use a cooldown to save us, and we just had excellent communication the whole series throughout. And I was never afraid at a point in the series that we were going to lose. I knew that every game was under complete control, even though there might have been some close calls. So I just think it was a good matchup by us, and I think we played it really well.
I mean, they said it great. I mean, we came through all the way. Like, we didn't lose a series on this BlizzCon, and it really shows like the practice we put in and all the hard work we put in to get here. We didn't have good showings on the spring and summer finals, but we really had a comp that could really work and counter a lot of the other comps that people played. And then we had comps to counter our comps' weaknesses, and it just got us through all the way. Nothing else I can say.
And Coach Mez?
I couldn't be more proud of my team. They're amazing guys, amazing players. They play perfectly. It was amazing to watch. Like, really, they're incredible. I love them.
You guys are awesome. Well, I want to thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me. And just, again, congratulations. 2018 BlizzCon Arena World Cup winners. Good on you.
Good on you.
Good on you. I can't even explain how awesome it was to be sitting in front of those guys and talking with them. You guys could hear it in my voice. Like, I was flustered. My voice was thrashed.
I know, they beat your team. They totally took out Gosu Crew, and you're on record on this track, man. They and there you were, like jumping ship and jumping onto the Method Orange train. I mean, I'm just saying.
I was so proud
Just
of
saying.
them. I was so happy for Sea-Doo. I know everything he's gone to get here.
Oh yeah.
And there was that, but I was flustered. I was just so happy, but the energy from those guys, like, they were beaming. They were sitting there in front of me. They had their arena statues in their hands, and they were like, they're looking at like when I was talking to one, the other three were looking at their statue. They're just beaming. Like it was just
well, and to add a little
pleasure.
To add a little icing to this cake, we all waited around after they had won their arena match. Over by the media desk, all three of us, Andolin, Gerissar, and myself, and so we got a chance to kind of, pat them on the back before they went for the interview. And I mean, they all just really did have that champion's glow of like, validation and all the hard work that they had put in, and it was just super nice to see, super nice to see what kind of guys they were. They were just the genuine, oh man, we'd worked so hard, and
yes,
we made it, and the relief, all the tension of BlizzCon drained away, and sitting there just beaming. It was really awesome.
Agreed. It was pretty awesome. And Andelin, you got a chance to talk to him afterwards too, right?
Yeah, I did. I told Stu that, like, we were all big fans, and just had a quick little chat while we were walking across the side behind the media tent there, and he let me and Paradise hold the trophy and stuff. It was really cool. So
and then go check go check Andelin's new Twitch, or not Twitch, but Twitter profile picture, and you see like how in the door he is now with Method. I would not be surprised to see Method show up in a Resurgence tournament in the near future.
I don't know about that.
Why wouldn't they?
I don't know. I don't know. What do you think, Andelin? Do you think Method's going to show up at your tournament?
I think I would if I like really try to get them to show up, but not that I'm not going to. I think anyone would show up at the tournament. I think it's just a difference of, like, sometimes there's other things going on. If you're practicing right now because you've got AWC Cup that you're about to finish some practice things for, it may not be in your best interest to display that. Or if you just can't make it because you're doing a raid with Method, then I wouldn't come either. But I think if I'm able, depending on I'm gonna say, like, if I'm depending on these things that we're going to start to do here in the future, it might change the game a little bit in that regard, to where it's a little bit more, it behooves them a little bit more to come than not. So, but no, I think this whole weekend was actually incredible. I had a very unique chance to be able to meet many people from Method, including Dari, and it was very it's awesome, incredible.
Yeah.
So it's an incredible group of people and very passionate people about gaming. So like it's so cool because it just makes you guys instant friends, So
Indeed. Birds of a feather like to flock together.
And
we all love esports.
That's one thing that makes BlizzCon so amazing, is the fact that everybody is there united around a common friendship, in the fact that we all love these games. And so literally anybody, you can just start up a conversation with them, and it's just, you have that immediate connection, and it's so fun. To be in that environment.
The one kid I talked to, I only play Overwatch. Just like, okay, bro.
Oh, sure. Yeah, cool.
No, actually, I can relate to that. I was speaking. I went up to the media area, and I was speaking with a person up there, and they were familiar with Warcraft or World of Warcraft, but they had stopped playing for a few years. And when I explained what I did, they were a writer for a fairly prominent media outlet, and we were just chit-chatting, and there was some great conversation there, just talking about, again, the person felt consternation about returning back because they're afraid of the changes. We talked about how the changes had affected PvP, and a couple ideas about some ways around the toxicity. And there's a really interesting period of time there. We're talking about the possibility of using AI to help players improve by giving them some sort of a feedback, a constructive feedback on their gameplay. Not player based, but actually like AI based, where like it reviewed your gameplay, like, and told you how logs. Kind of Warcraft logs, but actually, like, you did this during this play, but if you did this would have been better, kind of thing, right?
So coaching,
that would be so hard to do, especially in these situations. I mean,
I know, right? But my other thing is you'd have to be, and she even pointed out, like, you'd have to be really touchy on how you presented it, because I cannot think of a game that would survive in today's structure where the game turned around and told the person, yeah, you did pretty good, but if you did this, you would have done better.
Well, it takes a special kind of person to take any criticism whatsoever, But, I mean, there've been some interesting things happening with DeepMind and other AI systems. I know in Dota, they introduced an AI into the stream, and there were actually a lot of players that actually requested access to the AI so they could play against it more in order so that they could get better at the game,
Okay.
And so it didn't actually actively give feedback in the way of, oh, you did this instead of this. But the fact is that it took a long while before a player was actually able to beat the AI in the game. And so, but he played against it a lot, and he finally was able to start consistently beating it, and so people are using AIs to get better at games, but not in so, like you're saying, a direct coaching conception, whereas they just play against it, and if they beat it, they know they did something good.
So thinking of that and thinking of what you're talking about, imagine a PvP challenger mode where you're up against AI, but it gave you coaching after the AI session to help you improve your gameplay.
That'd be interesting. I was actually listening to some other shows, reviews of BlizzCon, and the Azeroth Roundtable podcast had a conversation with some devs on the Island expeditions. Yeah, no, it's getting late. But they talked about how when they first designed the AIs, they were actually too good. Yeah, and they've dialed them back a lot.
Yeah, I remember that in the beta.
So they could, I mean, if you getting good with Blizzard, maybe you could ask them, hey, let me see what these AIs can do. Let me play against them. Let me fight. Let me,
Let me just call my homie G there, Holinka. Yo, H. What's up, buddy? Hey, G. What up?
And hey. If we're going to be referring to Holinka in gangster lingo, then we must use his proper gangster name, Swolinka. Just saying.
What up, mofo? Yeah, no, we're not doing that.
He was looking great, by the way.
As
absolutely
one person,
looking great.
One person I was talking to, not gonna name drop, but they were agreeing with me that he not only looked different, but when they went to give him a hug, like, hey, how's it going? And they went to give him a hug. It was like hugging a big chunk of wood. Like, the guy is so built.
He's worked really hard. I'm really happy.
Oh no, I
hope him long life, because he's been doing great things for the game.
He's a solid guy. All right. I'm just so afraid that he's going to switch over. I'm glad that the Witchwood expansion is over at Hearthstone, because I was afraid he was going to move over there, since he's like a big chunk of wood. So
he's a resto druid.
Yeah. Oh, he's arrested. Oh no! I wonder if that's why they burnt down Teldrassil. If that was like a reference to Holinka moving away to that unknown game and coming back.
Maybe.
So
it's all right. Holinka will build.
Teldrassil's coming back.
Yeah, Holinka will build Teldrassil on his back. And he'll have the city there in his tree form.
I still say the best sign I saw all weekend was, shout out to the guy in the Darkmoon Fair who had the sign that said Sylvanas did nothing wrong.
Oh, you are a
well, for the listeners, what was on the sign was not just that phrase, but a bunch of salt shakers. To get the full perspective of that was, lots of salt there.
So before we close this out, I want to bring this up. So, Friday night, BlizzCon has ended. We're all in the Marriott, or no, sorry, I think we're over. Where are the Hilton? No, we're in the Marriott because the Hilton was too loud. So we're over in the Marriott. We're hanging out, and we meet up with V-Hill himself, the PvP designer, the he breathes, he exudes the energy of just PvP. The guy's so awesome to talk to. And we're talking, and there's a couple things he brought up, and I have to admit, I can, as an Alliance player, I can see where he's coming from. So he was recounting his days as a vanilla player and beyond, about how every time he popped out of Orgrimmar and the mount turned to the north, and there was Teldrassil in the background. Every time they on the western continent there, it was there in the background, and so he was exuberant about the fact that Sylvanas had burnt it down to get rid of it. He was just
bold.
So yeah, and I get it. Like, thinking, understanding his point of view, I can totally see that. Is your enemy is in the background every time you turn your mount and look to the north. Anytime you get to a mountain and you look to the north, you see this giant tree. And I get it, because I mean, it's no different than how many times as an Alliance player I went out to the Scarlet Monastery, or I went out towards that area, that northern area of the Eastern Kingdoms, and there was the undead poisoning my world, my land, right there. I went a little bit north, and there's that section where the Scarlet Crusade is, and the Plague Lands, and it's all poisoned by, if not the Forsaken, by the Lich King himself. And I get it. Like, I feel the burning. Like, it and it's not the stuff that penicillin can fix. Like, this is the burning that I just want to. I want to push the Forsaken back. I want to push the Horde. Get over to your own continent. Leave us alone. Let us flourish. If you go over there and you be good over there, we'll flourish together. Right? Yeah, you flourish your way, we'll flourish our way. But get the F off my land.
Mm-hmm.
It's bad enough you came in from another planet and caused so much pain to our planet. But if you must stay, go where I don't have to deal with you. Let me be me, let you be you, but stop bringing war to me, and I'll stop bringing war to you.
Yeah.
Well,
you tell him.
Except for the battlegrounds, because those resources are mine.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway. Any last thoughts about Blizzcon? Yeah.
What?
I think one last thing, though. I think it'd be really funny to see like a new meme or something where the Alliance is just all like over there, just like right where Teldrassil was, and just kind of like looking around, and just it says so much more room for activities.
All right.
Let's close it out, guys. We're tired.
Yeah.
I'm sensing it.
All right. Okay. We're gonna skip everything else. All right, let's just roll into it. Can one of you guys list off where our listeners?
Well, hold on. Okay.
Whoa.
We can't break tradition of the show. I understand we're tired, but what's the one thing you would change, Gerissar, about your BlizzCon experience?
Can I make 5 of me?
Yes, multi-boxing.
Yes. You wish that you could multi-box.
I need a multi-pass. No, I want to be in all the places. Like it. I loved the opportunity. I did. But even then, like there's a couple things I missed out on. There was some group media things where I was down on the floor watching esports, screaming my head off at the team on the stage, while there were some devs in some room somewhere with a bunch of other media people that I missed, that I didn't participate in. I didn't get a chance to personal choice, but I didn't get a chance to try the classic. We never got a chance to do the Mythic Plus Invitational, the Mythic Run. I didn't get a chance to try the new Diablo. There's just all these things that I didn't do, and I feel like I didn't have enough time in the day. Now, again,
That's so true.
Personal choice. I decided that I was going to spend my time at the Arena Cup for my listeners, for the media passes provided to me, give the best thing that I could do. But at the end, there's a bunch of stuff I missed out on. Now, that's it. I just wish there was more of me to do that. But that's that.
Yeah.
How about you,
so
or Windstead? Sorry.
No, go ahead, Andalin. I was just going to make a comment that so you wish that you would have passed around your media pass so that your fellow co-host could have, participated in the things that
Hell no. I am a greedy mofo.
But hey,
no, it's
you
all
were
for
on
me.
like you said, you were on the arena floor. You didn't need your media pass at that exact moment. Somebody could have been up in the dev room.
No, it was all about me.
Andalin, what would you have changed?
I'm doing some thinking, so if you have one, Windstead, go ahead and rattle it out.
So I'm going to encompass this into the BlizzCon because it is kind of part of it. Because BlizzCon for me was part of my anniversary. I was married November 7th. And so tomorrow, I celebrate my anniversary day, but my wife was kind enough to let us kind of combine anniversary and BlizzCon into one thing. So that was super nice. And we both went and we both did Demon Hunter cosplay. But our trip, the only thing that could have gone worse was if the car had blown up and incinerated us beyond all reasonable compare and left me damaged to the point where I could not play the game anymore. We got stuck in traffic. We got we thought as soon as BlizzCon tickets were announced, we reserved a hotel at the Marriott right next to Anaheim Convention Center. At least that's what the person on the phone told us the building that they was the one right next to the convention center, which turned out to be a lie. They were 1.5 miles away. So we thought we were staying right next to the convention center. No. Mile away. Okay.
Anaheim close.
Yeah, Anaheim close. Okay. A little bit, honestly, it was uncomfortable to walk that far to get to the convention center. On top of that, the elevators failed while we were at our hotel, and we were rooming on the 10th floor of the building. So we had to scale the stairwell like 2 or 3 times, which was ridiculous. The continental breakfast was $12 for cereal and muffins. It was just the worst, absolute worst trip I've ever experienced, and it happened on my anniversary. And so now I'm in complete make it up to my wife mode in hopes that in the future she will agree to go again or at least let me go because it was so bad the whole trip. So that's the one thing I would change, is I would have just made it so that we got to where we wanted to be on time, that the room was the one we thought we had reserved instead of one that, was 1 mile away from where we thought we were getting. And that, it was just an absolute disaster as far as that went. So
you definitely need to use Google Maps. It's your friend.
Well, and that's the thing. She had called them and was talking to them directly because there's 4 different Marriotts there. Look at Marriott at Anaheim Convention, and there's 5 that pull up right there. And so she called the one and was like, "Are you the ones right next to the convention center?" And they said yes. And she was like, "Okay, of course, they're They're going to be honest with me. They're saying they're right next to the convention center, so we reserved our rooms. And it was literally the day the tickets were announced. We did not have tickets when we reserved these rooms. We were going out on a complete limb because we wanted to try and get the best price that we could for nice rooms that we're spending our anniversary in. And it just completely burned up in our faces. So absolutely miserable. BlizzCon was great, though.
So I have one question, because when we first met up this year, you were kind of pointing out the fact that you felt the need to kind of sell BlizzCon to your wife so you could do that again.
Yes.
Last impression, is she sold on it, or are you going to have to fight to be able to attend again?
I'm probably going to have to fight to attend again. She loved, because we did a Demon Hunter cosplay. Oh gosh, damn it. Freaking computer, I swear. Oh gosh, really? Really?
My God. Let's just fucking end this shit.
I know, right?
Yup. Have you I'm sorry. You haven't had a chance to talk yet, have you, Andelin? The whole...
Am I back? No? Okay.
Oh my God, dude.
It's,
No, it's fine. We'll get it work. We'll finish it up.
Okay. Your audio is coming in really low. I'm gonna have to boost it.
So I would have to say that
You dropped out, bro.
I know, and I'm trying to jump right back in where I left off. I would have to say that the cosplay was the big draw for my wife. She loves getting dressed up. She loves doing all that. So we did a really fun Demon Hunter cosplay where we used fluorescent paint and black lights in Warglaives. Yep. And I tweeted out a couple of pictures, so if you look at my tweets, you can kind of see what we looked like, and I'll probably be posting more as things kind of settle down.
Or if you check out CD's stream.
Or if you check out CD's stream. But I looked good in the cosplay. My wife looked amazing in the cosplay. And that led to fun really things. Good. Yeah, that led to fun things later involving cosplay. But
hey guys, let's talk here. I'm sorry. We're getting a little long in the tooth here, with all the delays and everything.
True.
It's getting a little late,
but basically the only way that I will get her back is if I create for her an amazing cosplay that she could probably compete in. Andelin, what would you change?
Well, Gerissar, what were you saying, Duddy?
No, I had nothing. I was just What would you change if you could change something out of BlizzCon this weekend?
Sure. Well, I think next year, and we're gonna do this. I think it'd be awesome if we all stayed at the same hotel. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Personally,
definitely.
The Hilton thing with like the bumpin' nightclub type of feel thing wasn't really my scene. I much more like something much more suited towards the Marriott, where it was something. But I think I actually would. I'd like to see us more kind of centered in the same hotel, and also just have a little bit more of a like a more group type of chill Marriott like, or sorry, Marriott like experience. In the after parties. Or I'd like to see that chill, like everybody's drinking and having fun, but then like there's some after party like that everyone goes to that's just like everyone's having fun like that way or something. You know what I mean? Like so I don't know. That's all.
Okay. No, and the fact that there was a choice for both, either or. Like you could go hang out at the Marriott and chill, or you could go party at the Hilton. I mean, both were just great. All right, well, that's a show, and quite the long one.
It was.
But I mean, BlizzCon was quite the experience.
And we're going to talk about it even more our next episode, just because there is a bunch of stuff we didn't even cover about BlizzCon. This was more just getting our interviews out, right?
Yeah, this is our interviews and our impressions, and I think we're going to talk more about the videos and the VODs and the Q&A and all that kind of stuff as it pertains to PvP next time.
Exactly.
Perfect.
But let's move on and tell our listeners where they can reach us.
Sure. You can tweet the podcast at technically_PvP on Twitter, or email us at technicallypvp@gmail.com.
You can also visit our blog for individual contact information at technicallypvp.wordpress.com. A link will be available in the show notes.
We're tired, guys.
Yeah.
Finish strong, Gerissar.
Yeah. All right. All right. You can also join our Discord and our BattleNet community. Links will also be in the show notes. Wow. Thank you all for listening. I mean, seriously, guys, thank you very much. It's because you guys are listening that we got the opportunities that we got today or this weekend as well. So keep listening, keep giving us feedback. We really appreciate it. And good night to you all.
Thanks, guys. Good night.
You can find this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, Google Play, or directly from the RSS feed at libsyn.com. Please give us some reviews on Apple Podcasts, good or bad. It helps us know what we're doing well or poorly and helps others find the podcast. This has been a presentation of Technically PvP Podcast 2018.